Semen retention is the cure for weak men. Okay. Now, what do I mean when I say weak men? Right? Am I judging? Am I criticizing? Am I looking down on someone? No, I'm not doing that. Because I used to be this. That's why I know. Okay. So, like, everything I talk about, I've been in spades. And, like, with my personality, like, I have to take things to the extreme. Right? So, what is a weak man? Or a weak person, really, even. But we're just focusing on the men on this. So it's like, this could be a guy or a girl, you know? A weak person, okay, is someone that is very susceptible to manipulation and external forces, right? They're not grounded inside. And they're not stable enough and grounded inside to stand on their own behalf, okay? Because they're so fixated externally, right? When it comes to anything internal, they're very malleable and pliable, okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to be that type of personality that's just a hard-headed a-hole. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it is absolutely necessary to ground yourself and to develop your own orbit, to sit in your own masculine frame, okay? Because that's the best way that you're gonna serve people, all right? Like, I spent years, just so many years, thinking, playing the, if I just make the woman happy, if I just make this person happy, right? As long as they're happy, I'm happy, right? But over time, I'd realized that I was never gonna, one, make people truly happy, all right? And I'm just gonna fish myself into the ground, dig myself into a grave doing that, and then destroying my own peace of mind and giving up on myself, one. And two, people will take advantage of that. It's such a beautiful thing to have a kind and pure-hearted soul, but you need the stability and the groundedness to back that up and to keep it safe, really. Yeah, I remember, gosh, man, there was just so many times in my life, like, where I would get into a relationship with a girl, or I would, be on a team at work or be interacting with people, and I would just feel like I was constantly biting my tongue, just to keep other people happy. And what slowly happened with that over time is that, one, I just started not being myself, and I was betraying myself every time. And then, like, not saying anything, that, like, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but that, like, feeling just sits with you. It just sits with you and it eats you alive. Like, it's so destructive. And I had realized through my journey of semen retention, because when I first got on semen retention, like, I've talked about it many times, I was very over living unbalanced and unstable. And I think everyone has to experience that for a while. That's why I'm always saying, it's like a proponent, like, go out and date lots of women. Go out and see what it feels like to have your life just be full of lust and weird and angsty energy all the time, like you're chasing something. Okay? Go out and see what that feels like, because you're never, like, and really ask yourself, like, is it okay? Like, I'm going out and chasing girls. I'm going out and chasing this career, this job, and this thing, and people's validations and all of this stuff external to me. Go out and see how that feels. And then when you get what you want, ask yourself, was it truly worth it? Was it truly worth it? Go ahead and be in relationship, and a lot of people will say, well, I'm just a really nice guy. I'm just really friendly, and I just want to make people happy. And that's good. That's good. But where that leads, ironically enough, that leads to being alone or in really bad company. Okay. There was a relationship that I was in, man, that was just a game changer for me. Just an absolute game changer. And I'll tell you why, because it absolutely destroyed me from the inside out, and it made me see, finally, it clicked about how I was being, and all of the unhealthy behavior patterns that I had, which was just being very codependent in catering to people. All right, semen retention broke me out of that. I remember in the beginning, the relationship was great. Like it was fantastic. You know, you're giving a lot, she's giving a lot. We feel like we really, we feel like we really love each other in the moment because we're satisfying each other's needs emotionally, and we're fitting each other's like little, I guess, idea of what a person should be for each other. And then, you know, as with all relationships, as with all people, you know, people's true personalities and true selves always come out. You know, you can hide for a little bit of time, right? You can always hide for a little bit. It's uncanny to me. Some people are better at it than others, right? But slowly over time, like my deficiencies of being codependent and needy and needing all this reassurance constantly, not standing up for myself, and you know, not being grounded in, you know, and prioritizing what I want, that slowly caught up. I was at a point though in this relationship where I was practicing semen retention. I had my spiritual journey, my introspection, and I knew what I was doing. That's the funny part. Like I knew what I was doing, but I couldn't help it. Why couldn't I have helped it? You know, I knew I was being needy. I knew I was being codependent and too much, but and I was putting a lot of faith and trust into this person that while I was trying to, you know, improve. That's another thing. Like semen retention in this introspective journey, you know, the people that are like really on it, you're going to feel very alone. All right? Because I was in this relationship trying to talk to this person about this stuff, spiritual growth, and trying to develop myself and better myself. And people might be able to play the game with you a little bit, you know, might convince you in the beginning, like, okay, this is good, but most people aren't interested in that stuff, and that's fine. That's just accept that. The faster you accept that and are okay with being misunderstood, that's good. If anything, it'll push you closer to your relationship with God, and it'll push you closer to having a really solid relationship with yourself. Okay. But anyways, we had, I remember I had noticed that me being in this needy, ungrounded, you know, out of my own orbit, unstable energy, right? Being very codependent, being very weak, quite frankly. The woman was getting sick of me. Like the girl like I was with, she was like getting fed up with it. Like she was getting frustrated by the fact that I was weak. And all I was doing was trying to cater to please this person. Right? Like it was kind of harder for me specifically, this like breaking free of this stuff, because it's like, this was kind of my personality. I wasn't really the personality that was super outspoken, super amog, like, you know, alpha male, unapologetic, all of this stuff. I was the exact opposite. I was the apologetic one. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, you know? But anyways, that relationship, it finally got to a point where I was being so taken advantage of and being treated so poorly that it just finally clicked. Like, wow, okay, what I'm doing is not going to work, one. And two, I just don't want to put up, I'm just done, right? That's why I'm a proponent, like, go out and be in these situations, date lots of women, you know, see how that makes you feel. Because one, like, you're not going to really truly learn until you do that field work about yourself, right? Because relationships are the single best way to develop yourself and improve yourself as a person, if you're serious about it and humble enough to acknowledge your deficiencies and not just blame it on the other person. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this person was completely emotionally healthy either. Like, we both weren't. That's why we attracted each other, you know, but she was the taker, I was the giver. And it was like that endless dynamic stuck in like a trauma bond. But I had finally just gotten so sick of it. I had suffered the desire enough, right? I had lived this life enough, you know, and I remember I got so mad, you know, finally when I saw it and I got sick of it. And, you know, in one of the most unprofessional moments of my life, man, I just we had this final phone call, you know, because she had told me it was the day before my birthday, and she told me she didn't want to come to my birthday. And again, in the moment, I was all like, okay, it's fine. I'm going to just leave now. Well, actually, at that point, I was like, I'm going to go. I didn't lose my cool. I didn't get like aggressive or anything. I just said, I'm going to go. This is kind of ridiculous. But I was so mad. I had kept it together for so long. I was so frustrated and angry that we had a final phone call. And, she's trying to pull me back, and she hadn't realized that I had made these mental and emotional switches, right? Because that's what's really hard about maintaining relationships too, when you're on this introspective journey, is that you're constantly changing. And if someone also isn't constantly changing and coming up, increasing their vibration, it's not going to work. It's just not. You guys are going to get in a fight. You guys are going to have issues and you're going to break up. It just is what it is. It's like you're floating in a river this way and someone else is floating this way. And it's like you guys might intertwine, but a lot of people just aren't interested in doing the work to improve themselves and to become more stable inside and to get all these benefits that we're talking about. I mean, how many people start semen retention thinking it's going to be like this get rich quick scheme, right? Oh, if I just retain for a month, I'm going to get all the girls. It's like, that's not how it works. I'm going to get all these benefits. You have to stick with this stuff for a long time, right? But I can tell you what's on the other end of that is the type of person you want to be. It's a balanced human being. If you're a too aggressive person, if you're too over the top, if you're too confrontational with people and short with people and kind of rude and dismissive, it'll bring you back the other way. It'll balance you out with some empathy and compassion and some patience. And if it's the latter, it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to allow you to speak your mind more. It's going to allow you to be confident and stable inside yourself, stand on your own behalf. And it's going to organically do this. Okay. And I remember, so I got out of that relationship and I remember that was it. It was like a switch flip. That's why I say that this stuff I've noticed that this stuff on semen retention, the developments is organic, and you're going to suffer a lot. You just will, right? Because as you're doing this spiritual practice, you're eating healthy, you're hanging out with good people, you're slowly doing the things to raise your vibration, which you're just going to want to start to do anyways. There's no need to understand how to do it. You'll just watch yourself do it. If you're serious, you'll do it. And lots of other people, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But lots of other people are not going to just want to be a part of that. All right, and that's fine. But just notice, right, that all of this is going to happen organically and over time, and watch yourself become a very grounded and stable person. Once you've suffered enough, that's the only way you're truly going to change. And that's why I'm saying go out and do the thing that you want to do. If you have a desire to do something, go out and do it. Okay. But it's going to bring you to a sense of balance. Okay. Because you're going to start to see all of the deficiencies that are making you unbalanced, and then you're going to organically develop the skills and the traits and the desire to want to change that. That's a good desire to have. Okay? So I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.